So now let's talk myofascial release of the spine. Now I've got all these balls out because in an ideal world, this is how I would teach it in class. We'd kind of set ourselves up on this ball chain where we can roll around. So I'll show you what to do if you do have these things, but if you've only got the balls, and you've only got the balls, and that's okay. So this would be like my head ball, and my spiky balls would start at the top, and then my weighted balls would just support my hips. So in theory what happens there is, that just gives me the lift for the hips. I can then take my spiky balls and get them at the base of the neck, and then use my round soft ball just to give me some support. So by putting them there, it just allows me this movement that I can roll over these balls a little bit more easily. So if you haven't got a soft ball to put your head on, you're still probably going to need something, because otherwise this head drops back. And we're trying to do it with good alignment where possible. So, you know, you might have to get a few folded towels or something just to give you that support. So you can still move around, because you can just move your head over the ball. So really good to get into those shoulder areas here. Your shoulders are a bit like a coat hanger. There's sort of that wideness to them. So you need to spend a little bit of time making sure that you've searched out all of the mines in that area, in that minefield. So you'd move around. So again, it's sort of like 5, 10, 15, up to 30 seconds per place. Now this can get a bit awkward to move them around. So sometimes it's easier to move your body over the balls rather than trying to move the balls. So if I want to get the balls further down, I just move my head further up, the bottom further up, and the balls would move underneath. So you just start wriggling around. So again, once you've got them under the shoulders, shoulder movements, you can do a butterfly movement. I'm just going to come down so you've got a better view again. So if I get them into, usually there's some really horrible bits in between the shoulder blades. So if I get them into that position, so they're in between there, we can do some shoulder blade movements, we can do some scissoring, some butterflies, you could take it into some stretches as well, even just overhead stretches and wriggling, and just trying to loosen up all that connective tissue that might be pulling you offline. So gradually as we come down the spine, so I say it's easier to just move the body, but so that I don't disappear off the screen, I'll move mine down. So we just start to move them down the paravertebrals of the spine. So just start to get myself wriggling, maybe just rolling from side to side, and again just tracking down the spine, just making sure I don't miss anywhere. So you want to be quite linear about how you're doing that, so that you can find any areas that you're like, oh, that's the spot. And as you get a bit lower down, if you have got the balls in, they kind of get in the way, so you'll want to shimmy them out of the way. If you didn't have any balls in the first place, then it's just meant that you're having to hold a little bit more tone in the body as you're doing it. So gradually we can just bring them down either side of the spine, rolling, rolling. So if you've got really tight, overactive lumbar spine muscles, maybe because you have some tightness through your glutes, which means they're not working properly and your core's not good, this is just a really good way of allowing your body to start to reset. And then what's important to do is remember to then exercise in a way that recruits your body in a better way, so you're not going to redevelop these tension spots. So it's just lots of wriggling. You can always go back up, you know, if you make your way all the way down and you're like, oh, there was a really good spot back up there, I didn't really feel anything else as good as that. Just work your way back up and have another go. After you do this a few times, you'll start to recognise kind of where your areas that need attention with, so you'll get a bit better at honing in on it. But it's always worth having a good old spread through with that. So that's your kind of back of the shoulders and down through the spine there. Now if you want to do the head and the neck, sometimes one ball is a little bit better. It depends on the size of your head. You know, you might be able to fit two quite easily, but I've got a bit of a pea head, so one ball works fairly well for me, and I'll just stick it right in the nape of the neck where the hair joins the skull, and just roll from side to side through there, just trying to keep that chin down. Then once I've done that a few times, you might want to support the head a little bit just as you roll, and just get those neck muscles on the side of the spine. So you might want to focus on one side and then move the ball to the other side of the neck and just try and roll on the other side. The further down you get, You might be able to get the two balls to fit in either side, but you'll need to support that head maybe with a couple of pillows again as you do it. So you might be able to fit two in, or you might just work with one down one side of the neck until you get to that shoulder convergence, and then work on the other side. But it's just playing around. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing really you're going to do wrong here. Just wriggling around, just letting the balls get into the body. And after you've done it, if you feel a bit like, oh, then you can always just take a really nice relaxed body position and just let your body be supported by the floor as gravity opens it up, and all that lovely magic of releasing your body just gets to reset for a moment. So so that's how you can incorporate the neck as well with that. So spiky ball release down the spine, around the neck, into the buttocks. We've done the legs. So the only places that we're left with now is where we're going to do feet, and we'll have a look at the shoulders as well. A little bit more arm movement we can do. So have a look at those videos if you want to.